It was a quiet night on Earth. Cities were full of lights. People were driving home. Kids were watching cartoons. And old people were falling asleep in front of the TV. Everything felt normal. The sky above was calm, full of stars. No one knew that everything was about to change. At 11:47 p.m., the sky broke open. It started with a flash. A strange blue light covered the clouds. People came outside to look. They thought it was a comet or some space thing. But the light grew bigger. It spread across the sky like someone had cut the sky in half. Then, one by one, giant ships came through. They were black, sharp, and silent. They didn't make any sound. They just floated over cities like shadows. For a moment, people thought it was a dream or a movie trick. They pulled out phones. They started recording. But the phones stopped working. Cars stopped moving. The power went out. The ships had shut everything down. Then the attacks began. Bright beams of energy came from the ships. They destroyed buildings in seconds. Fires started everywhere. People screamed. Families ran. Governments tried to talk to the ships, tried to send messages. No reply. The invaders didn't want peace. They came to take. Military jets flew into the sky, trying to fight. But they were shot down before they even got close. Tanks rolled onto streets. Soldiers fired. Nothing worked. The aliens were stronger, faster, and smarter. Earth was not ready for this kind of war. In one small city, a young soldier named Adam was trapped under a broken wall. His unit had been hit. Everyone else was gone. He opened his eyes and saw smoke, fire, and pieces of metal. His leg hurt badly, but he could still move. Slowly, he pulled himself out. All around him, the city was falling. The alien ships moved like they were searching for survivors. He stayed low, hiding in shadows, crawling through ruins. Suddenly, he heard something, a voice on the radio. It was a child. "Hello, is anyone there?" The voice said. "My name is Lena. I'm in the old school building. I'm scared." Adam grabbed his broken radio. He didn't know if it would work, but he tried. "This is Sergeant Adam. I hear you. Stay quiet. I'm coming to you." He didn't know why he said that. Maybe it was because everything else was gone, and that small voice gave him something to hold on to. Something human. He moved carefully through the city. Fires burned everywhere. He saw bodies, smoke, and alien machines walking through streets. They looked like tall spiders made of metal, searching for anyone alive. Adam hid behind a car as one passed. He held his breath. It didn't see him. At the school building, he found the child. She was hiding in a basement. She looked tired and hungry, but she was alive. He smiled at her. "You're safe now," he said. "We're going to survive." In another part of the world, a group of scientists in an underground lab were watching the sky. They had been working on something secret, a machine that could read alien signals. One of them, Dr. Rena, said, "They are not here to talk. They are here to conquer." Her friend, Dr. Malik, replied, "Then we must learn fast, or we die." The first day of the invasion ended with Earth burning. Governments were silent. The internet was down. Cities were dark. But across the planet, small groups of people started to fight back. They didn't have high-tech weapons. They used old tools, smart traps, and human courage. In one village, farmers took down an alien drone using a net and fire. In a mountain town, a group of kids used mirrors to blind a scanner and escape. Everywhere, humans were learning how the enemy moved, how it saw, and how it attacked. The aliens thought the war would be easy. They were wrong, because something deep inside humans had now woken up. A fire, a will to fight, and a promise. If this was the end, it would happen on humanity's terms. The second day of the invasion began with smoke still rising from the cities. Streets were empty, and the sky was full of black clouds. The alien ships were still there, floating like monsters above the earth. They watched everything. They waited for humans to break. But humans did not break. In a ruined city, Adam and the little girl, Lena, were hiding in an old subway tunnel. The air was dirty. The sound of alien drones echoed above them. Adam was weak, but he kept moving. Lena followed him without a word. They found others hiding underground. An old man, 2 women, and a wounded soldier. All scared, all silent, but still alive. Adam looked at them and said, "We are not done yet." Somewhere else, a woman named Captain Rhea stood on top of a broken building. She was one of the last commanders still giving orders. Her unit had only 12 people left, but they had something more important: information. They had learned how the alien scanners worked. The enemy used sound to find people. If humans stayed quiet and cold, the drones passed by. Captain Rhea sent the message out using old radio towers. She didn't know who would hear it. Maybe no one. But the signal went far. Stay underground. No lights. No sound. No heat. Move only when it's dark. We are not done. We are not alone. The message spread. Across the world, people started to follow the tips. They learned. They adapted. They began to fight in small ways. One group of engineers in India used broken car batteries to build an EMP bomb. They tested it on a scout drone. It worked. The drone crashed. Another group in Brazil found out the alien armor melted in high heat. They used oil and fire traps in the jungle. For the first time, the aliens lost a few battles. They didn't understand. On their own planets, enemies gave up quickly. But humans were different. The more pain they felt, the stronger they became. They were not the strongest. They were not the smartest, but they were the most stubborn. In the cold mountains of Canada, a group of teenagers took over an old radio tower. They called themselves Echo Team. They had no military training, just video game skills and courage. They found maps, tracked alien ships, and shared updates with others hiding in the north. Soon, more people joined them. Engineers, hunters, and even an old retired pilot. Echo Team became a symbol of hope. One night, an alien transport ship landed near the old airport in Europe. It was full of supplies and weapons. The aliens didn't think humans would attack. They were wrong. A small group of rebels launched a surprise strike. They used smoke bombs and sound traps. They didn't try to win. They just wanted to steal. And they did. They took alien tools, power cells, and strange metal pieces. Then they ran back into the dark. That stolen tech changed everything. Scientists hiding in underground labs started studying the alien machines. One young girl, just 17, found a way to copy the enemy's energy signal. It was a small thing, but it meant humans could now hide better, or maybe even fight back one day. The aliens noticed the change. They increased their patrols. They sent more drones. They burned forests and towns, trying to scare the humans into silence. But the opposite happened. Humans didn't stop. They rose up in the shadows. In the middle of all this, Adam found an old military base under the mountains. It was broken, but the power still worked. He fixed the radios, cleaned the weapons, and helped the others rebuild. Day by day, more survivors came. Soldiers, doctors, mechanics. A small army began to form. They had no leader, no government, but they had a mission: survive, learn, fight back. One night, as Adam sat near a fire, he looked up at the broken sky. The alien ships were still there, still watching. He whispered, "You came to our world. You thought we were weak, but you didn't understand. We fight for our people, for our planet, and we never stop." The next morning, the rebels shot down their first full alien ship. It crashed in the desert. People cheered for the first time since the war began. The story spread like wildfire. Humans did it. We made them bleed. The aliens started to worry. This war was not going as planned. The war had changed. The aliens still held the skies, and most of the cities were broken. But now, the humans were not running. They were fighting back. Slowly, carefully, with old tools and new tricks. The aliens called humans primitive, but that word no longer meant weak. It meant dangerous. In the cold mountains of Eastern Europe, a small group of survivors walked through an old cave system. They were looking for a place to hide. One of them, a scientist named Dr. Elia, held a strange device. It was alien, stolen during one of the first rebel attacks. It was glowing faintly, and it seemed to be pointing deeper into the cave. "We should go back," one of the soldiers said. "It's too deep, too risky." But Elia shook her head. "This is not random. Something is calling us." They kept moving. After hours of walking, they found it. Inside the deepest cave chamber, behind stone walls older than human memory, they found a strange metal structure. Round, smooth, and glowing with soft blue light. It was not made by the current enemy. It was much older. Dust covered it, but the power inside was still alive. The humans had not discovered the aliens. They had discovered something the aliens feared. Dr. Elia touched the surface. A pulse of light shot through the room. Images flashed into her mind. Stars, machines, and voices in a language she did not know. Her nose bled. She fell back, but she smiled. "It's not a weapon," she said. "It's knowledge." Over the next few weeks, humans worked in secret to study the ancient device. They called it the core. It taught them things: how to bend energy, how to build shields, how to understand signals the aliens used. It was like a teacher left behind by a lost race, a gift to the next species brave enough to stand. The core was not from the enemy race. It came from a different civilization. Long gone. They had fought the same war once, and they had lost. But before they were destroyed, they hid their wisdom deep underground, hoping someone else would find it. Now, humanity had found it. Dr. Elia sent a message to other human cells across the world. "We have fire now. Real fire. Knowledge is the new weapon." In an old shipyard near the ocean, a group of engineers and former astronauts gathered. They had been hiding since the first week of the war. Now, with the core's knowledge, they began building something new, a small craft. Not big, not fast, but it could fly in space. It used a new kind of power, copied from alien tech, mixed with human creativity. It took months, but they did it. They called it Hope One. Meanwhile, the aliens had started to notice strange signals from Earth. Human resistance was not just surviving. They were learning. They sent more ships. They searched harder. They destroyed anything that looked suspicious. But it was too late. Hope One launched from a hidden base in the desert. It rose into the sky at night, quiet and unseen. Aboard were 5 humans, 2 engineers, a pilot, a scientist, and 1 soldier, Adam. The mission was clear: find the enemy's home, learn what they fear, bring back something the aliens cannot stop. As Hope One left Earth's atmosphere, the crew looked back at their planet. It was bruised and burning, but still alive. The pilot said, "They thought they came to take, but now we go to take back." In space, the ship used old Earth tech and new alien systems together. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't smooth, but it worked. That was the human way. Take what is broken and make it fight. Days passed in silence. Then they saw it. The first alien station, huge, dark, floating between moons. It was not just a base. It was a prison. Inside were many beings, not just humans, but other species, other victims. They had no names, just numbers. They looked weak and scared. But when they saw the humans, something changed. A light returned to their eyes. The aliens saw the ship too late. Hope One dropped smoke bombs, hacked the station's doors, and broke inside. Adam and the crew fought with stolen alien rifles and metal tools. It was not a big battle, but it was enough. They freed the prisoners. And for the first time in years, the other species felt something new: hope. As the ship flew away, one of the rescued aliens looked at Adam. Its voice was low and strange, but the words were clear. "You are not like the others. You are fire." Adam said nothing. He only stared ahead, thinking of Earth. The war was far from over. But now humanity had more than just guns. They had the gift of fire. The blackness of space was silent, cold, and endless. Hope One floated between the stars, small and alone. The humans inside knew they could not go back. Not yet. Their mission was not just to survive. It was to learn, to find the heart of the enemy, and to strike where it hurt. Adam stood near the window, looking at the stars. He had never left Earth before. Now he was flying deeper than any human in history. His hands were steady, but his eyes were sharp. He had seen what the enemy did to his world. He would not forget. The rescued prisoners sat quietly in the back of the ship. There were 5 of them. Different species, different shapes, but one thing was the same in their eyes: fear, not of the humans, but of the ones who had taken their planets, burned their homes, and put them in cages. Dr. Elia, the scientist from Earth, tried to speak with them. At first, they didn't understand. But one of them, a tall alien with blue skin and a broken horn, knew a few words. "You fight them?" he asked. Elia nodded. "Yes, we fight. We don't run." The blue alien looked confused. "But your kind is new, weak." Elia replied softly, "We were weak. Not anymore." As Hope One moved through enemy space, the crew found something strange. Signals. Messages not from the enemy, but from others. Hidden voices, soft cries, warnings. There were more prisoners, more planets under control. But there were also whispers of rebel groups out there. Other species, broken but not beaten, waiting for someone brave enough to lead. Captain Rhea, who was guiding Earth's growing resistance, received the first message from Hope One. It was short but powerful. "We are not alone." That changed everything. Back on Earth, humans began building faster. They made more ships, small ones, fast ones, some made from alien parts. They trained pilots and hackers. Children learned how to jam signals. Farmers became engineers. Everyone became a fighter in their own way. In space, Adam and his team found a damaged alien transport ship drifting near an asteroid. It was still running, but barely. Inside were more prisoners, over 24. Some could walk. Some were too weak. The crew helped them, gave them food, water, hope. One of them, an old alien with metal arms, was once a builder. He showed the humans how to change their ship. Stronger shields, faster power. "Use this," he said, handing over a strange crystal. The humans didn't know what it was, but they trusted him. In time, the ship changed. It was no longer just Hope One. It became something new, a mix of Earth, alien, and fire. They named it Ashwing. With their new ship, the humans went deeper. They attacked small enemy posts, disabled supply lines, and freed more prisoners. Every victory was small, but powerful. The enemy started to take notice. Their movements slowed. They became more careful. On one mission, Adam and his team landed on a moon full of factories. The enemy was building weapons there, big ones, made to destroy entire planets. The crew knew what they had to do. They planted charges. They caused a blackout. They risked everything. And they won. The factories exploded. A wave of fire lit up the sky. For the first time, a human-led team had struck a deep enemy base. The news spread fast. Across the stars, in hidden corners, old species began to whisper a name. Humans. The word meant something new now. Not weak, not soft, but dangerous, smart, wild. On the way back to their ship, Adam looked at the stars. He thought of Earth, of Lena, of the people still hiding, still fighting. He said to Elia, "We're not just saving ourselves. We're starting something bigger." She nodded. A fire in the dark. Later that night, the blue-skinned alien with the broken horn came to Adam. He knelt and placed his hand on Adam's shoulder. "My people fought once," he said. "We lost. We gave up." Adam looked at him. "Then fight again. With us." The alien stood tall. "We will." And just like that, the humans gained their first true allies. Hope won. Now Ashwing was no longer just a mission. It was a symbol that the enemy could be hurt, that the stars no longer belonged to them alone. And far, far away, deep in a dark room on the enemy's homeworld, a tall alien general watched the reports. "Humans," he whispered. "They were not supposed to reach space." Another alien asked, "What do we do?" The general's eyes narrowed. "We crush them before others rise." But it was already too late. The fire had spread. Ashwing flew low through the black space near a dying star. Its engines were quiet, shielded with stolen alien tech. Inside the ship, Adam stood beside a glowing screen, watching red dots move across the map. Each dot was an enemy patrol. There were many. But this time, they weren't just avoiding the enemy. They were going to attack. The ship's crew had changed. It was no longer just humans. 2 of the freed prisoners had joined the mission. Rello, the blue-skinned alien with the broken horn, and Kale, a quiet, spider-like creature who was once a tech slave for the enemy. Kale could hack systems faster than any machine. Rello was strong, a fighter who had nothing left to lose. Their target was a prison station orbiting a dead moon. Thousands were trapped there. Some had been there for years. Others were freshly taken. All were waiting for death or worse. "We free them," Adam said, looking at the crew. "No one gets left behind." Elia, now wearing part of an alien exosuit for protection, nodded. "This time, we break the chains." The plan was simple. Get in, disable power, open the cages, get out. Simple, but not easy. As Ashwing moved closer to the prison station, enemy sensors picked them up. The alarm rang. Red lights flashed across the ship's walls. "They see us," Kale said in a strange, clicking voice. "Then let them," Adam replied. The ship sped forward. Drones flew out to block them, but Rello took control of the weapons. "Hold on," he shouted and fired. Blue lasers cut through the dark. Explosions lit the sky. Ashwing dodged left and right, shaking with each blast. They were faster now, stronger, smarter. Inside the prison station, the guards ran to their posts, but they were not ready for what came next. Kale hacked the outer gates before the ship even landed. Doors flew open. Lights went out. Fear spread through the station, not among the prisoners, but among the guards. Then the humans entered. Adam and Rello led the charge, using stolen rifles and smoke bombs. Elia and Kale stayed near the control center. They worked fast. In just minutes, cells began opening. Weak voices whispered, then cried, then shouted, "We're free." People of all shapes and sizes ran through the halls. Some crawled, some limped, but all were alive. The sound of hope echoed louder than the gunfire. In one cell, they found something unexpected, a group of human children, taken from Earth in the early days, thought to be gone forever. Lena, the little girl from the subway, was one of them. Adam fell to his knees. "Lena." She ran into his arms. "You came back." His voice broke. "I never stopped trying." They moved fast now. The station was falling. Rello was hit in the leg, but he kept fighting. Kale overloaded the main power core. "We must leave. Now," he said. Everyone rushed back to the ship. But more enemy ships were arriving. Too many. Ashwing couldn't escape alone. Then something happened. A strange signal appeared on the screen. A group of alien ships, small, fast, and marked with a rebel symbol, were coming in from the other side. They heard us, Elia said. They're fighting too. The new ships attacked the enemy from behind. It was just enough. Ashwing broke through and jumped to light speed. When they landed on a hidden moon hours later, the prisoners came out one by one. There were hundreds now, weak but free. Some had lost everything. Others still carried pictures of home. Many cried when they saw the stars. That night, around a fire under the alien sky, a meeting took place, not just between humans, but between species from across the galaxy. They had all suffered, but now they had something in common: hope. We must fight together, Raylo said. The enemy is powerful, but not unstoppable. Elia stood beside him. We are different, but we want the same thing: freedom. An old alien stood. Her voice was slow, but strong. Then we fight as one. They all nodded. A galactic rebellion had begun. Back on Earth, Captain Rhea received the message: prison station destroyed, hundreds freed, rebel fleets forming. She looked at the map of the stars and smiled for the first time in months. The enemy had come to Earth expecting an easy war. Now they had started something much bigger. Humanity had not only survived, they had lit a fire in every corner of the galaxy, and the chains were breaking, one by one. Far across the galaxy, past broken moons and dead planets, a giant black structure floated in space. It was the enemy's command center, hidden for years behind thick shields and deep silence. No one had ever come close to it. No one had dared. Until now. Ashwing flew with lights off, engines cold. Inside, Adam and his crew watched the strange object grow larger on the screen. This was it, the heart of the enemy. The place where orders were given, where planets were destroyed with a word, where prisoners were marked for death. The rebellion was growing. Across many systems, small groups were rising. Ships were stolen, bases taken back. But none of that would matter if the leaders at the top remained untouched. So this mission was clear: find out who they are, what they want, and stop them. Elia stared at the black structure. There are no windows, no signs. It's like a ghost ship. Kale, the tech creature, tapped on the console. Very old, but alive. Something is moving inside. Many somethings. Raylo stood by the weapons. His injured leg was wrapped in cloth. We hit them hard, then run fast. Adam shook his head. Not yet. We need to see inside first. We need to understand what we're really fighting. Ashwing moved closer. A door opened on the surface, slow and silent. It was almost like they were being invited. The crew entered carefully. Inside was cold, dark metal. The walls hummed like they were breathing. Strange lights blinked. There were no guards, no alarms, just silence. They walked through long halls. The deeper they went, the stranger it became. Symbols covered the walls, symbols not even Kel recognized. They felt ancient, angry, afraid. Then they found it, a large room filled with glass tubes. Inside each tube was a body, tall, thin, with glowing eyes. Some were dead. Others were alive but asleep. One of the bodies opened its eyes. Adam stepped back, gun raised. The creature looked at him calmly. Then it spoke, not with words, but inside their minds. You were not meant to survive. Everyone froze. You were supposed to fall like the others. Elia stepped forward. Why? Why attack Earth? The voice answered, you are the spark, the mistake. You are what we feared would rise. Adam frowned. We were just living. You came to destroy. The voice replied, because long ago, we were like you, wild, free. Then we built control. We became order. We killed the chaos, And now we protect the order forever. Kale hissed, "You fear life." The voice was quiet. "We fear fire." Suddenly, alarms rang. The enemy had noticed the ship. Drones flew in. Weapons lit up. The trap had closed. "We have to go," Relo shouted. But Adam grabbed one of the strange memory crystals from a tube. "Not yet. We take this. We show the galaxy what they really are." Elia helped copy files from the walls. Maps, names, data. Everything the rebellion could use. Everything the enemy wanted to hide. Then they ran. Fighting through hall after hall, they barely made it back to Ashwing. The ship lifted off as explosions shook the station. Enemy ships followed fast. "This will be tight," shouted the pilot. In the middle of the chase, rebel ships appeared. Small, fast, full of fighters from different worlds. They came without asking, without waiting. They came to protect Ashwing. The sky turned into a battlefield. In the chaos, Ashwing jumped to light speed and vanished. When they landed on a rebel base, hidden inside an asteroid, Adam handed the crystal to a group of leaders. "Now we know the truth," he said. "They don't fight us because we're weak. They fight us because we remind them of who they used to be, of what they lost." Elia added, "They fear our chaos, our spirit, our fire." Across the base, the message was sent out. The enemy is not just strong. They are afraid. They fear freedom. They fear rebellion. They fear you. All over the galaxy, that message lit fires in hearts and minds. Planets that had been silent for years rose again. Old allies returned. New ones joined. Even species that once bowed to the enemy now turned their backs. On Earth, Captain Rhea smiled as the signal came through. "This is it," she said. "They thought they broke us, but they only showed us who we really are." The final battle was coming, and humanity was not alone. The stars burned bright as thousands of ships gathered near a red giant. They came from every corner of the galaxy. Fast fighters, giant carriers, strange alien crafts. Some were old and damaged. Others were new, built with stolen enemy tech. They had one goal: end the war. At the center was Ashwing, now marked with the colors of Earth and the rebellion. Inside, Adam stood before the crew. His voice was steady. "This is it," he said. "The enemy brought war to our home. They broke our cities, took our people, burned our skies. But they made one mistake. Everyone listened. They thought we would give up. They thought fear would win. But they didn't understand humans, or any of us." Elia stepped forward. "We're not here just to fight. We're here to finish it." Cheers rose from the crew. Relo banged his weapon against the wall. Kel's eyes blinked fast, ready for battle. The plan was simple, but bold. The enemy's core world, the place where all commands came from, had been found. It was shielded, deep in a black cloud. No rebel ship had ever made it through. But now, with the data they stole, the rebels knew where to strike. Ashwing would lead the attack. The fleet moved fast. The enemy was waiting, but they were not ready for the size of the force. Ships broke through lines. Drones were smashed. The black cloud shook as the first wave of fire reached it. Ashwing flew straight into the storm. Inside the cloud, light vanished. Only the enemy's cold red sensors glowed. Lasers fired from all directions. Ships exploded. But still, the rebels pushed forward. Adam gripped the controls. "Hold the line." Kale hacked the shield systems. Sparks flew from his console. "Almost in," he clicked. 10 more seconds. Outside, Relo's cannon fired again and again. Alien fighters flew close to protect the ship. Elia shouted warnings and commands. Then, with a loud crack, the shields fell. The enemy's home was now open. Ashwing flew toward the black tower in the center of the planet. That tower controlled all the drones, all the ships, all the fear. "We take it out," Adam said. "Everything ends." The ship landed hard on the tower's roof. The crew rushed out, fighting wave after wave of enemy guards. The rebels followed. Aliens who once feared war now charged with human courage. They reached the heart of the tower. Inside, the enemy general stood tall. His armor was dark, his eyes cold. He looked at Adam and said, "You should not have come." Adam raised his weapon. "You should not have attacked Earth." The fight was fast. The general was strong, trained for war for centuries. But Adam had something more. He had rage. He had fire. He had people behind him. Together, they brought him down. Kale placed the final charge on the control core. One blast, and their whole system dies. "Do it," Elia said. The core exploded in white light. Across the sky, enemy ships stopped moving. Drones dropped. The black cloud vanished. The war was over. Ashwing lifted into the sky once more. Behind it, the enemy world burned, not from hate, but from truth. The truth of freedom. Messages flew across the stars. The enemy has fallen. The rebellion has won. Earth stands. Back on Earth, Captain Rhea watched the stars. Fires no longer burned in the cities. Children played again in the streets. Factories now built homes, not weapons. The sky was healing. When the fleet returned, people lined the roads. They cheered for Adam, for Elia, for Kale, for Rallo, for the humans and aliens who fought together. Lena sat on Adam's shoulders, waving a flag. They said Earth wasn't ready for war, Adam told the crowd. Maybe we weren't, but we ended it on our terms. Years later, a statue stood in the center of a new city. It showed a human hand holding an alien hand, both reaching up toward the stars. Below it, words were carved in every language. We were different, but we fought as one. And together, we brought the fire.